The Solomon Project, where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. I'm your host, Richard Burns. We are descending after driving for what could have been maybe half an hour to an hour at an altitude of 7,000 feet. We are now descending into Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I wanted to make sure you guys got to see this beautiful view while we're on our way there. Very close. We can stop by and visit. Maybe we can't because we don't have enough time. I was thinking maybe we could stop by and see the crew from Breaking Bread from Breaking Bad. Y'all. Butter. Y'alls. Get some of that blue substance. I don't know, the terrain to me looks beautiful. To me, at least. I don't know how you feel about that. Very windy up in the top when we were at that altitude of 7,000 feet. Understand, right now this truck weighs approximately 76,000 pounds. And the wind was... The wind was strong. Because it was shaking this truck from side to side. I can only imagine these people that have these very light loads and they're driving up there. A lot of Amazon trailers are very light. They have light loads. And they can get blown on their side. Can you see the car that's in front of me? It's about, 2 football fields ahead. That's about the distance a truck needs to stop. The car that's in my lane ahead of me, that's the distance that a truck needs to stop. Here's the thing though. With a gap like that, cars absolutely love to fill in that gap. Like that white pickup truck did just now. And I understand most people can't help themselves. However, right now we're descending, so this is downhill. It's even more dangerous for a car to change lanes and get in front of a truck too early. Georgia's pretty good. On I-75, I've seen signs where the signs show the cars the appropriate way to get in front of a truck when they're changing lanes. I think all states should adopt that type of signage so that people know and understand. Like right now, this is a perfect gap. The gap I have with the pickup truck, that white pickup truck, because he sped up, created the perfect gap. Beautiful scenery. There was one year I was driving through here, and I think this was the location. There was a forest fire taking place up at the top of the mountain on the right. That thing up there was all lit up. and it was at nighttime. As dangerous as it was also beautiful. Let me see. How close am I to Albuquerque? Y'alls, are you keeping an eye on oil? Last I saw, which was like maybe half an hour ago, it was down to $57 a barrel. I think the last time I told you about it, it was at $60 a barrel. So it's still trending down. The price is trending down. And I know you guys remember the importance of monitoring oil prices. The northern hemisphere is entering, it's already in the fall, but it's about to enter the winter. So the consumption of energy should be slightly higher than during the summer. At least up here in the northern hemisphere. I don't know if the northern hemisphere or above the equator, the population is greater than below the equator. I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. Well, if we look at India and China, where are they in relation to geographically? Where are they in relation to the equator? Because those are the two largest populations on planet Earth. Uh-oh. I think y'all heard the gum. There it is. I spotted the first taller structures of Albuquerque. And this territory right here might be part of Albuquerque proper. Not sure. Yeah, so oil is down to $57 a barrel. At that price, oil producing nations could very well be struggling right now economically. I think the threshold is $60 a barrel. I don't remember. But you have a lot of oil producing nations that depend on the sales of oil, not just oil, but the refined products that are made out of oil. And it makes up a huge percentage of their economies. We're talking about OPEC and OPEC plus nations. So something's up with the demand. The demand is low or lower than the amount of oil available. Remember, it's a global commodity. It's a global market. I've heard people making complaints about one president or another being responsible for the higher oil prices, but it's got nothing to do with the president of the United States. The President of the United States doesn't set the oil prices. OPEC and OPEC nations impact the price of oil with the increase or decrease in their production of oil in relation to the demand for the oil also. Yeah, we're in Albuquerque right now, y'alls. And I'm approximately 15 miles away from my destination. Yeah, I'm going to be delivering out here in Albuquerque today. Oil, that's energy. Here in the United States, I don't know how it's going to be for China, but definitely here in the United States, there's an increased demand for energy to satisfy the growth of the AI industry. Yep. So what's going on? There are data centers that are being built, and the data centers don't really provide the communities that they're built in with potential yeah, it does provide jobs, but very few jobs. Initially, the construction of the data centers provide for some work, but once they're built, what do you need? Like maybe 100 people to operate it? However, in the territories that these data centers are being built, people around those areas are getting increases in their electrical bills of 200% and 300%. 200% and 300% increase to help subsidize the use of those data centers, to help subsidize the corporations that depend on those data centers. How you like that? Subsidize? Listen, subsidies are the type of word, or is the type of word that you can substitute with welfare. Yes, it is corporate welfare. So there are corporations that rely on these data centers that are receiving welfare from the government. So if you're a tax-paying citizen, part of the taxes that you're paying are going for supplying certain corporations, big corporations, with welfare. Ain't that cool? Ain't that cool? And not just those corporations. Remember, Argentina is getting 40 billion with a B, $40 billion in help to preserve their economy. Argentina. I don't know what happened to America first, but Argentina is definitely getting the cut. 40 billion. 20 billion initially, and then another 20. How you like them apples? And once the soy farmers found out, oh my goodness. The content that was being created by these farmers, forget it. They were not happy. They were not happy, y'alls. And if you didn't get the scoop from the first time I reported it, with the first 20 billion, the Argentinian government turned around and I think they eliminated the tariffs against the Chinese and wound up selling their soybeans to the Chinese. Yeah, America first, y'all. America first. Them soybean farmers were heated. So what do you guys think about Albuquerque? This is I-40. Oh, there's one of those signs. Hurt, call Bert. Ha! Where's Saul? Better call Saul. Saul Goodman. Where's he at? Plenty of signs out on the highway for lawyers who will offer their services for any accident having to do with a truck. Whoa, look at these pieces of wood on them. I like the color underneath the bridges over here and along the sides. Albuquerque, y'alls. Keep an eye on those oil prices. Give you an idea of what's going on in the global economy. You already know, $57 a barrel. Russia's just melting right now. They're in bad shape. And they're part of the BRICS nations. Yeah, they're part of the BRICS nations. Those nations that are supposedly getting together and boosting up their currencies, trying to figure out which one of them is going to have the currency that's going to knock the dollar off its pedestal. Russia's one of them. Yeah. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Those are the nations that make up the BRICS nations. China's not doing well. Russia's, they're on life support. India's having complications now due to the tariffs that the administration is applying on them because of their purchasing, because of India's purchasing of Russian oil. Kind of odd if you think about it, because it's a sovereign nation practicing a capitalist principle. They have the leverage to be able to purchase oil at a much cheaper price from the Russians And keep in mind, when the sanctions were placed on Russia for their invasion of the Ukraine, the sanctions were that there would be a price cap on Russian oil. In no way, shape, or form did Western nations claim, said, or demanded that Russia not be able to sell any of its oil. It was never that. It was just a price cap on how much they could sell it for. And I think the cap was $60 a barrel. Now, if you're a nation like India and you were able to purchase oil from a variety of countries and the going rate was $75 a barrel or $80 a barrel, and the Russian oil can only be sold for 60, that's the type of leverage that you want. That's the type of leverage that you can negotiate with so that you can get the oil at a cheaper price. And yet, contrary to what is supposed to be practiced here in the United States, this administration is saying, nah, you can't buy from this particular producer. You can't buy from them. India's a sovereign nation. They should be able to buy from whoever, because there was never the type of sanction that didn't allow Russia to sell their oil. It's just that they had to sell it no higher than a specific price. There was a price cap on it. That was it. But let me know how you feel about that in the comments section. Do you think it's right for the United States to tell other countries what they can and cannot buy in the international market? Let me know. So stay fresh and keep it profitable, and I'll let you go keep Kitty company. Kitty!
Arabam Dacia, seviyorum çift kalem aça. Göremedi kimseden fayda. İşler